She just had her husband rub some sunscreen on her, then let him go swim in the ocean by himself. But after waiting on the rocks for over half an hour, she still didn't see him come back up. Panicking, she quickly asked a nearby couple if they had seen her husband, but the couple said they hadn't seen anyone else there at all. With no other choice, Lisa tried calling her husband, but his phone was already turned off. So she hurriedly threw on a jacket and ran down to the beach. But even after asking every single person there, she still couldn't find any trace of him. Realizing he might be in danger, Lisa turned to the beach lifeguards for help. They immediately took a speedboat out to search. But after more than an hour scanning the ocean, they didn't find a single piece of debris. By then, her husband had already been missing for over 2 hours. With no other options, Lisa went to the police to file a report. But when the officers heard about it, they actually laughed, saying the beach was small. If no one had been found after 2 hours, then he probably just snuck off to meet someone. They told her to go home and wait, not knowing that waiting would last half a month. During that time, Lisa came back to the beach every day, waiting for him, but he never showed up. That night, the hotel room phone suddenly rang. At first, she thought it was her husband, but when she answered, it turned out to be a sales call. The disappointment hit her all over again. Where on earth had her husband gone? With summer break over, she had no choice but to return to teaching. But on her very first day back, she was shocked to see that one of the lifeguards who helped search that day was now a new student at her school, and he kept trying to talk to her, even asking her out to dinner. Lisa rejected him immediately. She still believed her husband was alive. Back home, she opened her husband's computer and started watching his old work videos. To her surprise, she noticed a mysterious woman appearing in them, her eyes clearly showing affection for her husband. Lisa suspected the woman might be connected to him, but she had never seen her before. The next day, Lisa suddenly got a call from the police saying they had recovered a male body from the ocean. Her scalp tingled with fear. She thought the worst had happened. But when she went to the morgue, she realized the body wasn't her husband, just another drowning victim. Seeing how shaken she was, the officer told her about a similar case. A woman's husband had also vanished without a trace, only to return 6 months later. Turns out, he had spent that time traveling with his mistress and only came back after running out of money. Back home, Lisa was heartbroken. Could her husband really be that kind of man? Then she thought of the mysterious woman again and went back to the computer. This time, she realized that every time her husband filmed something, that woman appeared somewhere in the frame. And the later the footage, the angrier her expression became, like she had a deep grudge against him. Sensing something was wrong, Lisa rushed to search through his closet, hoping to find any clues. After digging around, she found a diamond bracelet hidden in his pocket, but she had never seen that piece of jewelry before. The next day, Lisa went to the bank to check his account statements. She discovered that a month ago, he had withdrawn a large sum of money. Now her suspicions about him only grew stronger, but before she could figure it out, an investigator suddenly showed up at her door. He said her husband was suspected of embezzlement, which completely shocked Lisa. Her husband had always seemed like an honest man, but the investigator clearly had evidence, so Lisa had no choice but to answer his questions. After he left, there was suddenly another knock at the door. To her surprise, it was the lifeguard, Jack. Without hesitation, he confessed his feelings to her. Lisa rejected him right away, but Jack didn't give up. He said he was also curious about what happened to her husband and offered to help investigate. Desperate to find the truth, Lisa agreed. The next day, the two of them waited outside her husband's workplace for the mysterious woman to leave. They followed her for a while, but didn't notice anything unusual. After work, she just went to a pharmacy, bought some medicine, and drove home. By the time they tracked her back, it was already late at night. For safety, Jack suggested taking Lisa home first and handling the rest himself. The next day, Jack deliberately parked his car outside the woman's house. Then he let the air out of his tire and knocked on her door. He told her his tire was flat and asked to borrow a jack. He thought she would refuse, but the moment she saw his face, she agreed without hesitation. Without realizing it, she had already fallen into Jack's plan. After changing the tire and returning the jack, Jack suddenly asked to use her bathroom. Seeing how dirty he looked, the woman let him inside. Once inside, Jack began scanning every corner of the house, but he didn't find any signs that a man lived there. However, just as he was about to leave, the woman suddenly stopped him. She asked if he had a girlfriend. When she learned Jack was single, Annie offered to set him up with a few women. What she didn't realize was that Jack had already seen through her intentions, so he deliberately left behind one of his business cards. After leaving Annie's house, Jack told Lisa everything that had just happened. When Lisa heard there were no signs of a man living there, she told him to go back and search the place thoroughly. With no other choice, Jack returned to Annie's house again. Using the excuse of inviting her out for barbecue, he successfully distracted Annie, then slipped into the house while pretending to use the bathroom. To his surprise, he discovered a hidden basement, and just as he was about to go down and check it out, Annie suddenly came in, forcing him to come up with another plan. During the meal, Jack noticed a trophy in Annie's house, and without hesitation, he picked it up, unexpectedly provoking Annie on the spot.
Поставь на место!
After returning, Jack told Lisa the name engraved on the trophy. The moment Lisa heard the name, something clicked. She quickly searched through her husband's belongings and found a news article about an athlete who had died in a car accident. The athlete had left behind twin daughters as the only survivors, and the name on the trophy matched that very athlete. It was clear now, Annie was very likely one of his daughters. To confirm their suspicion, they decided to sneak into Annie's house while she was away. But just as they climbed over the wall into the yard, Annie suddenly drove back home, forcing them to flee in a panic. Later that night, when everything was quiet, Jack texted Annie and invited her out to a bar. Meanwhile, Lisa quietly climbed over the wall again, intending to check the basement for any sign of her missing husband. But the moment she opened the basement door, she discovered a woman who looked exactly like Annie. It turned out to be Annie's twin sister, and the athlete really was their father. After learning Lisa had come to rescue her husband, the sister calmly invited her to sit down. She explained that when they were kids, they had gone out with their parents, but a boy flying a kite suddenly blocked their view, leading to a car accident that killed their parents. Since then, Annie believed that boy was responsible, and that boy was Lisa's missing husband, who was now truly being held captive in the basement. Lisa tried to rescue her husband, but the security system automatically sent an alert to the homeowner. Realizing the man in the basement might be escaping, Annie immediately left the bar and rushed home as fast as she could. At that moment, Lisa was about to break the door open, but in the next second, she was knocked to the ground with a blow. When Lisa woke up, she found herself locked up with her husband, who now seemed mentally unstable. She demanded to know why he had disappeared 2 months ago, and only then did he finally reveal the truth. After putting sunscreen on Lisa that day, he vanished because Annie had seduced him. He secretly swam around the rocks to the shore, threw his phone into the sea, and planned to run away with Annie. But before he could do anything, Annie injected him with something. When he woke up again, he was already locked in the basement. Hearing this, Lisa was shocked. Her husband had turned out to be a cheater, but by now, it was far too late. Soon, Annie dragged both of them into the yard, preparing to execute them. She forced David to shoot Lisa, or she would shoot him instead. Terrified, David couldn't bring himself to pull the trigger. Just as things were spiraling out of control, Annie's twin sister couldn't take it anymore. She rushed outside holding their father's trophy, saying she had already called the police, and begged her sister to let go of her hatred. But Annie had completely lost her mind and wouldn't listen at all. At that critical moment, Jack suddenly arrived, only to be shot by Annie the next second. Annie didn't fare any better. She slipped and fell straight into a cellar pit. By the time the police arrived, Annie had already frozen to death inside the cellar. David was later arrested and sent to prison for embezzling funds to buy jewelry. After everything that happened, Lisa could never go back to how things were with her husband. But fortunately, Jack's wound wasn't fatal. In the end, Lisa and Jack built a happy life together and soon welcomed a baby. And in an unexpected twist, after being held captive for so long, Annie's sister developed complicated feelings for David. As she continued visiting him in prison, it seemed that once he was released, the two of them might end up living a shameless but happy life together.